What do you say, everybody? It's time for Elephant in the Room, where we talk Alabama football. We try to do it twice a week, and we do it right here on Cover Crimson. And we appreciate you guys being here with us today. Our show is presented by Pearl River Resort over in Philadelphia, Mississippi. So get those questions ready. Like, subscribe, thumbs up, and let's get this party started with, with the open of a national champion. Anytime I hear that open, it reminds me of a championship celebration. Did you guys have a parade, or did you do the thing at the stadium when you guys won in 2015?
We did both. We did paraded up to the front of the stadium.
How cool was that?
That was my first time. That was my first time speaking to. I don't know how many people were out there, but it was a ton.
What'd you say?
I don't remember. It was a lot of thank yous and like. The hell y'all are putting me up here, and no script, no nothing, just like they didn't even tell me. They just called me up there.
You always got to be ready to go.
Yeah, that's right.
Now that you're a professional podcaster, you'd do a lot better than that now than you did then. I mean, we're rolling past 150 of these shows.
Yeah.
I mean, so you'd be ready. Would you have approached it differently?
I'm a lot better at thinking on the spot than I used to be.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, let's talk a little bit of Alabama football before we talk about the mullet toss and our time at the Floribama. We did get an opportunity to say hi to Ryan Williams, Jalen Mbakwe, Bray Hubbard, and Dre Kirkpatrick Jr. I liked all four of the kids. I thought they were great. We interviewed them. You were on their podcast, which I ended up producing. I was like a fill-in producer on your podcast you being a guest on their podcast, and you made me laugh a lot. So I don't know what they're going to keep or what. I guess we should just start there. I don't know what they're going to keep or what they're not going to keep, but without really giving too much away. You did mention Lane Kiffin to Jalen Mbakwe. I heard it. I saw it. I don't know that's going to make the cut.
They had no idea. What was going to come out of my mouth. Ryan Williams. He's like, man. When we walked into the suite up there and they were all hanging out on the couch on their phones, I was like, oh man, these young guys, they got no idea. Old school humor's coming.
Yeah.
And again, I have no idea what's being cut out. So, I'm sure that won't make it.
Maybe not. But if they want people to watch, I like their whole crew, though. Walt, the guy that kind of heads up their thing, they were great. And then anytime you get a chance to spend with Ryan Anderson, your teammate and our friend, it's great, man. And listening to his insight and then listening to your insight and you talking to those guys about success, what it takes to be successful, because they wanted to know about winning a national championship. And for you guys, it was never about winning a national championship. It was about the process of getting to the point where you were good enough to do that. And it's hard to explain to somebody, I'm guessing.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, simplest way to explain it. And look, I mean, it helps when you got a lot of really good teammates, skilled and athletic teammates that understand, their role and how to play. But I mean, I think as a whole, to make it as simplified as possible, you show up every day and you're willing to give everything you got. Sacrifice everything, whether you got a game that day or not. I mean, you don't care if you're getting carted off the field. It's just max effort all the time. And you're not really playing for selfish reasons. It's for the guy beside you. I mean, that is, if you can go to bed every night and you know that each teammate in that locker room is going to respect the effort you put in. I mean, that's, you basically, you've done your job. I mean, if you think your teammates will honestly look you in the eye and tell you that they're proud of the effort you put in, Not just you being proud of the effort you put in, but your teammates truly believe that because they know more than anybody. I mean, whether you're living up to your potential and making it happen like you're capable of doing, there's nobody that knows it better than your teammates. So all that effort needs to be focused in on being a teammate and a brother to the next guy beside you.
Well, you told him you guys would die on the field. You've said that on here before. I mean,
yeah, I mean,
for each other.
My story was about Denzel Duvall telling Bryce Young that because, I mean, and when you're 18 to 20, I mean, look, that's an exaggeration, but I mean, when you're 18 to 22.
Oh, so you wouldn't literally die. Sorry. Let me just say, so you wouldn't literally die. You were just saying that.
Well, I mean, I'm not the kind of guy that compares, I'm not the kind of guy that compares football to war or anything like that. I mean, I made a joke about it on the podcast, at a certain point, but, I mean, you go in, you go to try to gain a couple extra yards. Your thought is about gaining those yards and getting a first down, not whether, hey, am I getting carted off the field here or not? I mean, when I was running or doing anything, throwing the ball, about to get hit, trying to get a first down, I mean, my thought was, my sole focus was getting that first down or getting that ball off. And if being a stretcher was a byproduct of that, then shit happens,
No, you played that way. I mean, we hung out with Baron Huber, who was on the 09 team, and our friend, like our good friend too. I mean, not just because he played football, but I mean, first off, a fullback. I mean, they don't even exist anymore. Like, you don't even see those guys. You just go in there and just smash people and get them out of the way for the running backs. He was part of Mark Ingram winning the Heisman. And then you get to
got to live in both worlds too. Got to live in both worlds.
Yep. Yep.
05 to 09.
Yeah. Well, I think that he's a little skeptical right now of the transition because, he was on my podcast on Bama Tailgate, and I just think that they know what it was like before Saban got there, and they're so protective of the process. But things have changed too, right? I mean, we've seen failure before, and we've seen success, and I have confidence in DeBoer and Grubb and the staff. But the way that last season ended felt a lot like some of the Shula year games.
Yeah, I mean, but you think about, we were talking about with Barron on Saturday losing to ULM. I mean, in Coach Saban's first year, I think everybody was wondering, it's one thing to lose to Mississippi State first year in, one thing to lose to maybe even Vanderbilt. But losing to ULM is, I mean, that shouldn't happen, And what did Barron say that Coach Saban said in his first meeting?
He said he walked in. You helped me here, but he said he walked in and goes, "Hey, I know that none of you guys signed up to play for me, but I didn't sign up to have any of you guys either." I'm paraphrasing, and he's like,
"No, I think that was." He said he was in there for 5. He walked in, for 5 minutes. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Yeah, none of y'all signed up to play for me, but I didn't bring any of you here either. I mean, that is freaking. That's. Hey, Deion Sanders. He said something pretty similar to that. That's pretty damn. You better earn your spot after that's said to you. I mean,
he kept all those guys. It wasn't like he was like Deion kicking guys off the team, Saban.
You couldn't do that. You couldn't do that back in that day.
Right. I know. I mean, maybe it was structured differently, but I was really surprised at the way that he kept the roster and just added talent to it instead of really getting rid of guys. And then with DeBoer, you got to give this guy a lot of credit. No one transferred. And we kind of talked about this before, but it's like every school has people transferring. But he not only has he not lost players transferring, the coaches haven't like left. I mean, they might move somebody out, but like it's crazy how loyal the players and the coaches are to him. And I think it goes to show that people that are around him genuinely believe in him and really like him.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, I've talked to fans on either side of the spectrum. The problem is you had a guy here for 17 years that coached one way. And that, I mean, if you built a mold for a head coach at Alabama, there's no better fit than Coach Saban. I mean, that tough blue collar mentality that is really the state of Alabama, in my opinion. I mean, you got a lot of tough blue collar people in this state, and that's Alabama. Everybody wants Alabama to be a representative, of the people, and that's a hard nosed, disciplined team, in my opinion, and a hard driving head coach. Times have changed in college football, and I think Coach Saban would agree that you can't really do that anymore. I mean, especially when you don't have the proven record yet of, however many, I can't remember how many national championships he's got now. What, 7? No, 6. How many does he have now?
7. Yeah, 6 at Bama and 1 at LSU.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to walk into a room and handle business that way with college kids when you've got that kind of resume. I mean, you turn heads and everybody appreciates your words, carry a lot of weight no matter what. Coming into a new arena, as a Kalen DeBoer to me is he's pretty proven, but he doesn't have the resume that Coach Saban has. Obviously, nobody does ever. But I always tell people, whether they agree with the philosophy or the approach or not, you got to give them time, especially in this era of college football. I mean, I've met him multiple times. I like him a lot. He's always been very personal to me. He seems to communicate well, get his message across. I've never seen him in private like I have Coach Saban, obviously, so I don't know how all that goes. But, I mean, the last thing you want is to bring in a guy and give him a tight or short leash. I mean, you want – because, look, what's going to happen if, you get rid of him and then the next guy that comes in is like, well, heck, man, what, am I coming in here and somebody else is pulling the strings behind my back and I got no freedom here to do what I want and I could get fired in a year or two,
Yeah.
And I'm not saying we're headed that direction. I think you have to give your full and complete trust to whoever you bring in, because what does that say about you? Do you have any confidence in who you're hiring, or are you quick to pull the trigger on getting a new guy in?
Yeah. Well, that's the look at Auburn, the mess that's Auburn.
Yeah.
You get rid of Gus, right? And he was doing a pretty good job. I mean, it wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible. Then you hire a guy in Brian Harsin that had no business being in the SEC, and now you got Hugh Freeze, who it's taken a lot longer to get the program in the right direction. And if things don't go the way they want them to go soon, people are going to want to get him fired, but there's no resources left to pay somebody to do the job that you're paying 2 other people to do. You got to stick by these guys, which sucks, because if they're struggling, then you've got to wait it out and hope that they get it figured out.
Well, it doesn't suck as long as you make a good decision and in time we get there, which I think we are. I mean, I do think we are. Well,
if you're not winning, it does. We waited on Shula, and he had some resistance. And the thing about him is that he did have to deal with scholarship limitations. He was a decent recruiter, but Bama had losing streaks against Auburn and LSU. They couldn't get consistent,
Well, that was the tail end of the Tennessee 10-year drought, wasn't it, too?
Well, it wasn't 10. It was I think 6 or 7, maybe.
Okay.
We beat them 16, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I always remember that.
Yeah. I think it was 6. But but still, I mean, it was terrible. I mean, losing to all your rivals, And because of the debacles with these coaching hires, you got rid of Gene Stallings. Mike DuBose wasn't the right guy, but did win an SEC championship. And then Coach Franchione never got the culture, and he walked out, and who knows what happened to him. I mean, you talk about going into a black hole. Texas A&M got beat by Oklahoma by 77. Never saw him again. He's in the witness protection program now. We hired a guy that got fired for using a university card for strippers, and then we hired the altar boy Mike Shula. we got saved, but it took a long time to get there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, that's right. I mean, we lucked out with the best scenario that's ever played out in college football before in terms of a coaching dynasty or coaching tenure.
Right.
I mean, who other than Coach Saban, just you take the wins away in the last 30 years, who's been 40 years, who's been around for 17 years and retired on their own? Because Bobby Bowden didn't do it.
No.
I mean, he's the next one that comes to mind. Now, he stayed longer. I mean, I'm trying to think. Bobby was around. He was around for 20 years.
There's nobody that compares. They always push these guys out. He left on his own. He didn't have to leave. I mean, if he would have had some more Kevin Steeles on his staff, he probably would have stayed longer. It's just that they couldn't get enough guys that were loyal to him and the program, and that he had to coach all the coaches. And I think that's why, he left. And then you look at DeBoer, and that's the strength of his, is that the coaches love him. I mean, listen to the way they talk about him. And I think the coaches, they respected Nick Saban. I don't know that they all loved him, but maybe they loved like learning from him and being around him and stuff. But it's just a different animal now with these guys. Like the fact that they're trying to stick it out, and it feels like they're going to work really hard to try to figure out how to win. Now, and talking about DeBoer, I wanted to talk about this interview that he did. He was in Green Bay Thursday night, and then there was a report, sports radio 93.3, that is KJR in Seattle. I remember he was there before. And the Seahawks drafted Jalen Milroe, right? And they asked him a question. We heard out of Alabama, all the skill players would have transferred had he come back. A commentator said to DeBoer, right? And then DeBoer said, I think I've heard that same quote, and I think the word all was used. So whenever absolutes are used like that, I kind of question it right there, DeBoer said. The words never and always and all, I think it's a little far-fetched. I don't think we would have lost all of our receivers for anything. And so that, he kind of went on to say that. Now, they did have 6 guys transfer out, but Ryan Williams, who we met this weekend, Hollywood stayed, Jeremy Bernard stayed. They got Isaiah Horton to transfer in. Jalen Mbakwe switched to wide receiver. He said, I also say that there were guys who left. We had 6 receivers transfer out just on this last year's team already. There's reasons for that. Who were they hearing that from, and what's happening? I don't know. That's really not a concern of mine. And he just went on to talk about Jalen being a guy that works hard and unites people, and called him basically said he was a stand-up personality. He can throw the ball. He can throw great deep ball, and that he's comfortable in his timing, that he could be he can improve in consistency in the pocket, and and just kind of went from there. But there's been a lot of talk lately that everyone was going to transfer had he come back. I don't think he was coming back anyway. I heard Alabama moved his NIL to other areas, but people saying that. I wonder where that comes from, and I wonder if there's any credibility to it. I mean, you had 6 guys transfer out of that wide receiver room, but I don't think it was because they thought he was coming back.
Yeah, I mean, look, this new era of NIL I think it's kind of easy for guys to say that, kind of blame whoever if they're not making the NIL money they want to make. I mean, if the situation they're not playing as much as they'd like, it's a lot easier to say that nowadays. And I don't know, man. If you're going to say that, I think good guys and guys you want around, if they did say that, I think they'd probably regret that. I do. And then the guys that say that and stand behind it, I mean, why would you? What's the point in saying that? Just transfer and leave it alone, And guys are going to tear our locker room apart and say that. I mean, you probably need to go anyway. I mean, I just don't like that publicly, trashing a guy. He's on his way out anyway. I mean, I like Jalen a lot. I really, really liked him when we met him last year. I thought he carried himself well, did the best he could. I mean, you can point to certain things with anybody. I mean, I don't like any kind of statement like that. I haven't heard it publicly, but again, Ryan Williams, Jeremy Bernard, those 2 guys. I mean, they're the mainstays. They proved themselves this year. They're the guys that everybody wants back. If you're not playing a whole lot, then figure out a way to earn it, whether it's blocking, catching, running your routes, getting other guys open. And then if you have something to say like that, maybe it carries a little weight. But, I mean, Ryan Williams, Jeremy Bernard are back. I mean, Jalen's out. I hate to even talk like that. And Jalen built his legacy at Alabama. I think he did a pretty damn good job, and I think people are going to appreciate him for a long time. I just don't even like entertaining that kind of language,
Yeah. Well, he's gone now, and we'll pull for him. Hey, guys, we're brought to you by Pearl River Resort. Told you that at the beginning of the show over in Philadelphia, Mississippi. The 2 of us are going to be over there soon. We'll be there sometime in May. Dancing Rabbit Golf Course they call it the Augusta You Can Play. You don't have to have a membership, but it's a multi-million-dollar golf course. They have 2 18-hole courses, the Azaleas and the Oaks. The clubhouse is great. When we stayed there the last time to do our show, we actually stayed in one of the suites in Dancing Rabbit Golf Course. Came right in the clubhouse. We just walked downstairs. You open your window, and it's like, there's the green. There's the holes. It's beautiful. So if you like golf, make sure that you check it out. But great concerts at Silver Star Convention Center, including one that's coming up here shortly. That is a guy by the name of Vanilla Ice, a group called CNC Music Factory, and a legend known as Young MC. Right? Do you like the 90s rap? They're going to be there. But they do concerts constantly, table games, the best slots in the area. I'm talking about a huge investment in slots as well. Everything you need in the sports book is there too. Big bar, a bunch of TVs, 21 flat screens, any kind of sports you want, you can bet on it. And they have obviously the window and everything else you need. So that's Pearl River Resort. We appreciate them hanging out with us here on Cover Crimson and the elephant in the room. All right, look, got to give you your due. Got to give you your due. Wasn't your best throw this year at the mullet toss. Wasn't your best throw.
Yeah, our intro is prettier than that damn throw I had.
But it wasn't bad. I mean, I went back and watched it. I mean, it just was beatable. All my throws, every time I've thrown beat that.
Oh, hey, I'm glad. Actually, I'm glad you brought that up. I didn't feel like I reached my full potential, but I think your throw went about how I thought it'd go.
No.
You want to elaborate on that real quick?
Yeah, I do. Well, first off, when you threw, you threatened me and that you were going to sack me when I was in the circle. So you you made me nervous. I wasn't as good as I could have been. No, I had guys. And there's a video coming out of the whole thing, so you'll be able to see it.
Yeah, you'll be getting a demand letter soon.
When he
you'll
threw
want some dinero for the bodily injury you caused at the Floribama.
Okay, can I get to that point first? He threw, and it was, I want to say it was a solid 120 something. I mean, it was a really good throw. And that day, it was
I
still
threw
one
it
of the
too
better
low.
throws.
Was what I didn't have the right fish, and I threw it too low. But
So
at least everybody outside the perimeter was safe.
No, I know. I deserve this. But I talked to the guy that's won like 20 mullet tosses, and he gave me all these tips on, just because I've had some pretty good throws. I came in one year, I threw second, furthest, and then when in the finals, I ended up third. And then last year I had a really good throw. I've had some good throws, man. Most of them have been really good. Not great, but good. And I know the same thing. You got to get height on the height on the fish. So he told me to get down in the box and get a fish that was a little bit frozen, and then fold it a certain way and hold it a certain way and let it go a certain way and crow hop a certain way. And I played this over in my head. Just like when I used to play ball, like my best games are the ones where I thought about, you could see the pitch come in and you knew like the break was going to be here. And if you just stayed down on it, you could just pop it the other way or turn on it. Had everything ready. And when I saw his throw, if anybody knows wrestling, you pull the money in the bank. You know it, right? He had put me in. And he was nervous. I could see it in his eyes. And everybody was waiting for what could have been one of the biggest mullet toss upsets in the history of mullet tossing. I mean, this guy, he's known for the deep ball. I'm just a commentator here. I'm just your average radio, TV, and digital host. Okay. So I waited for this moment, and I had the fish in my hand. I felt good. I had it gripped right. I was ready. And when I went to throw the fish blew up in my hand. It literally blew up in my hand, and it flew off and it landed on a lady. And when I say flew off, I mean, it was like when you see like a pitcher throw the ball, but it slips out of his hand and flies over on the side. And the guts flew everywhere because it blew up. To that lady, I'm really sorry. So you beat me again.
So when does that podcast drop?
It's a highlight video. It'll be on Bama Tailgate. It'll be on Bama Tailgate tonight. I'll take the heat. And look, man, I will tip my cap to you.
Wait, you'll take the heat. What did I say that was so bad?
No, I'm just saying, I know. I mean, it was terrible. Like it would, if I would have beaten you though, I mean, people would have stopped watching the podcast. They would have been like, he's not the deep ball. This isn't deep ball Coker anymore. Getting beat by his like broadcast partner. This career radio guy. No.
Hey, I know one thing. The trajectory was off, but if my fish had hit that lady, we'd be talking a lot more serious injuries. That thing was moving.
It was terrible. I mean, like the gasp from the crowd. Did you ever see the movie Stand By Me? When they had the eating contest and the guy threw up on everybody. And the crowd gasped. That's how it was. That was terrible. It was so bad though that it was good. Like if you're not gonna if I would have lost by this much, it would have bothered me. I'd have been like, oh man, okay, I had him and I didn't, or if I would have thrown like, I don't know, like 80 feet or something like Milrow and those guys. I always throw it like 118, 19 feet on my bad throws.
How did Ryan throw so bad?
He threw it twice. He threw it twice and couldn't get it over 100. The guy, like Milrow And Milroe last year and Malachi didn't hit 100. This year, Ryan Williams went twice, and I think he got close to it, but he didn't get it. Jalen Bachway threw it once, and he was kind of around 100, in the high 80s, maybe somewhere in the 90 zone. I don't remember what Dre Kirkpatrick was, but he was in the same area. But then Bray Hubbard got out there and threw it like 130 feet, 134 feet throw. I mean,
I thought he threw further than that.
No, I mean, but that's still, that's one of the longest throws of the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
The wind was knocking the fish down a little bit this year.
Yeah. Our boy Bray grew up chunking rocks or something.
I asked him if that's another interview you can see on my YouTube channel. I said, "Did you grow up throwing fish?" And he goes, "Yeah, but not these." I'm like, not these. I like those kids though. I'll tell you what, Bray Hubbard would be a great NIL guest on our show. I think we would like to hang out with him.
Yeah.
He was fun to talk to.
I enjoyed all those guys.
All those guys, really.
Like I told them during that podcast, when I was their age, I didn't do a whole lot. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd celebrate wins with my teammates and we'd go hang out. But getting out and doing stuff like that, really, really proud of them for creating their brand, and that'll last a long time. I told that to them during their podcast. It was, again, and Alabama really stepping in. And some of those videos I'm seeing on social media are great. And that's all, really, it's crazy what kind of platform you can build for yourself on social media.
Yeah.
They've done a great job.
The New Wave podcast, Coker and Ryan are going to be on there. It was really cool. They gave you guys these T-shirts that was like your face and a helmet and then like action shots. And they were pretty awesome. Man, I saw Ryan get his first and I was like, that is badass. And I saw you get yours. I thought that is a really, really, really cool. Thank you for coming on their podcast. We've extended an offer to all of them.
That was pretty thoughtful. That's what I told them. That's a pretty thoughtful gift, it's one of those, my wife's going to sleep in that, but I don't know if I'll be wearing that around town too much, but it is very thoughtful gift.
I think you should. Why not? Because I don't know that people would know that was you if they didn't know you. Because you're wearing a helmet. You're wearing a helmet, man. Like,
look at this goofy SOB wearing. He must be a huge Jay Coker fan.
Hey, we should do a video where you just wear it around and say, and I'll just ask people if they recognize the guy on the shirt.
They're gonna be like, they're gonna be like, is that Tyler Watts or John Parker?
That's so funny though. It looks awesome, man, and you did have a great career. I was going to say before we invited those guys on our podcast. We'd love to have Ryan Williams on, or Jalen Mbakwe, or Bray Hubbard, or Dre Kirkpatrick, or any of those guys. Hopefully we'll be able to do more of that because
I think after my rebuttals on Saturday, they may be a little gun shy about the questions that may be asked.
Oh, who cares? I don't know. Kalen DeBoer said he would come on. We need to just go ahead and get him on. Break the ice with him on the show.
Yeah, that's right.
I think we just need to go up there and do it in Tuscaloosa in person.
No, that's the only way to do it. No, I don't. Do something like that. It's got to be live. You can't do this. You can't do the, virtual thing.
Yeah. Well, listen, another show in the books. Congratulations on your mullet toss this year. Won your best, but it was good enough, and turned out to be Bray Hubbard really won, but you came in second. So, I'm not, I'm not knocking that second place effort. I disqualified. I wrecked and it's like a NASCAR where, my car ran into the wall and I never got back out on the track,
Yeah.
This is a
Yeah,
fun
you
look.
totaled
Man,
it.
Yeah, I totaled it. Look, I want to tell you guys this. You know this, Jake, being serious. John McInnes, Cam, Pat, the ownership at the Floribama makes us always feel like we feel like owners while we're there. I mean, they treat us unbelievably well. We love the Floribama. I was playing Riley Green's song, "Bury Me in Dixie." It's got that line about, prop me up at the mullet toss.
The thing about the mullet toss, or the thing about the Floribama,
everybody drinks on me.
The thing about Floribama is when you go there, it's one of the few places that lives up to the hype, in my opinion. It's one of the few places that really, I mean, you hear all the songs and everything else. It absolutely lives up to the hype.
Yeah. Well, Steve Powers is great too, man, and we're thinking about him and his family all the time. We love Steve and Patty, and then obviously Jen Parnell, and now she's a mom. Little Bennett, but we had a blast.
Yeah.
Every time we go there.
Funny story about we were kind of alluding to this with that shirt. I walk up to the side gate to get in, and as a guy I hadn't met, and he's standing at the gate, and I'm walking up, and I'm just planning on walking right on through, because that's where we usually go. And he pulls the gate over in front of me, and I'm like, he's like, "Hey, you got to go that way." And I was like, "Well, hey, my name's Jake Coker. Paul told me to walk through this gate to get in here." And he just looks at me and goes, "I'm going to need more than that, brother." I was like, all right, I get Paul on the phone. Thank God Paul answered. I'd have been sitting there waiting on him. Yeah, he looked at me, I'm going to need more than that, brother.
Out the shirt? Why didn't you show him you on the shirt? He would have been like, "That ain't you."
Yeah, that's right. That's what I mean.
That's John Parker Wilson. Come on, buddy. You refused to wear. They give us passes. I mean, my book bag was here. You get like a mullet toss media pass and then a wristband. You didn't get any of that stuff?
Well, I did once I got through the gate. I mean,
you're saying when you first got there.
Yeah. That's right.
You didn't have the shirt yet.
Yeah, no, I didn't. But like you said, that probably wouldn't have worked either.
It'd have been like, "I was there when you scored that touchdown against Tennessee on the road. You ran it in. You and Zal used to do the old switcheroo."
Hey, I play now. They have a golf tournament in Greenville. I try to play in it every year, but they had an auction one year, and some of my buddies came up there, and of course, golf tournament, you're having a good time. They had a few beers, and at this auction, they had this Daniel Moore, and let's just say it was a guy in a 14 jersey running into the Tennessee end zone. The checkerboard end zone.
That's the print.
Oh yeah, and so I'm sitting over there on the side, and all of a sudden I see my buddies just acting like idiots, and they're throwing their hands up every time, I mean, and I'm like, I'm just sitting there laughing. I'm like, these idiots think that's me. They end up buying it. They run over to me like, "Check it out. Do you remember this play?" I was like, I would if I was Tyler Watts.
Yeah. Hey, remember when we were in the golf tournament, the Striker Strong golf tournament last year? We had Tyler Watts' brother was in our. Yeah, he was a good guy, and you know what? I'm glad you brought that up, man, because we got a message from Robbie, who puts together the Striker Strong golf tournament, and it's going to be May 5th. Bent Brook Golf Course in Bessemer, and they've got some registration still available. So it goes to a great cause, man. His son Striker has a rare disease, and he's bedridden, but he's a great kid. And, you guys have gone out there and supported this thing. It's one of the biggest golf tournaments in the state. And then when Jay Barker was doing shows, and you guys know I love Jay. Jay talked about it all the time, so that's how I got familiar with it. But yeah, when we were out there last year, we had Tyler's brother was part of what we were doing. So yeah. All right, man. Well, look, I hate to leave great company, but it's that time. Any final thoughts before we wrap it up today?
We'll get them next year.
I had this cut on my finger too. That was one of the reasons. It was bad.
I won't watch that podcast. I just know based on what people tell me what's in there, because there's a few things in there. I'm just wondering. There's probably about 3 things in there that I'm wondering if they're going to cut out or not.
Oh yeah. The New Wave podcast. I just kept looking. You kept looking at me. I produced the thing as a favor. I mean, and I loved doing it. Look, I loved it. It was just cool to watch. But I thought I'm being a bad influence right now. I'm looking at you.
Hey, buddy, it matters. But when some of those questions came up, the problem was they asked Ryan a few questions before they asked me, and I was like, and I'd look over at you like, I got one. I got one for him. I was sitting there contemplating punchlines.
When you started talking about Lane Kiffin, I was like, oh my God. They better not cut this. And you guys better watch the podcast too. Tell them that you heard about it here on Elephant in the Room and Cover Crimson. Hey guys, like, subscribe, thumbs up, comment. Thank you for being here and part of our show. We'll get back together and do another episode later this week. And again, support Pearl River Resort because they support us, man. And they love what we're doing, and they're behind it. And we'll be there. I don't know what we're doing yet, but we're planning on going there later this month. And we want you guys to come hang out with us when we're there or when we're not there. But you got Dancing Rabbit Golf Course, the Augusta you can play. You got Philip M. Steakhouse, great steaks. The chowder's amazing. They make, I think, a fantastic old fashioned. You got the Circle Bar. You got table games and slots. You got music entertainment acts. You got Geyser Falls Water Park. You got the spa. Everything you need is right there in Philadelphia, Mississippi. So it's like the Vegas experience, but it's an hour and a half from Tuscaloosa, 2 hours and change from Birmingham, and really it's close to anywhere in the state. Thanks, guys. Roll Tide.
To Pearl River Resort.